This is All Robotics Competitions, and I'm your host, Kiril. I'm again joined by Will, our good friend Will, organizers of World Robot Olympiad in the United States. Hi, Will.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Like we've been through this exercise a couple of times. This is, I think, our fifth recording where we go over the World Robot Olympiad 2023, the senior part, which is like the more advanced and
Yes.
really difficult competition. What do you think about it?
So the senior is always the toughest of all the categories. It makes sense because it is for the high school age students. It usually requires lifting and grabbing of different sizes and some more advanced techniques to for your robot. So a lot of robots have to do many things at once as well.
What do you think is the popularity of the senior compared to the other three categories?
Um, well, here in the U.S., it is not that popular only because there are other robot competitions that students do. So they do, either FTC, FRC, VEX. There's other competitions as well at the high school level. So there's many different options, and I guess you know different. They're just different. They're just different competitions that they. A high schooler doesn't not necessarily want to work with Legos. So that's the kind of sentiment here.
That's also true. But on the other side, these are quite difficult missions that we should
Yeah,
work on.
no, they're very challenging. I've had senior teams in the past, and the ones who've done it actually really like doing it. It's just um, maybe it's just a perception or a stigma that is thought of here. But they're just as challenging, and I would love to do it myself, but I'm just that there's just a lot more options here for high schoolers.
Yes, yes. A lot of options for high schoolers. Now the senior is quite difficult, and in 2023 we'll have the finals in Panama. So the whole theme of the whole competition is uh, how do we move different cargoes with ships? How do we do transportations with ship? What is marine shipping, etc. And this the senior solution is also based around this. Could you walk us through the main missions?
No problem. I'm gonna switch cameras here to kind of go through this. So just give me a
Okay.
second. Okay. So I'm gonna just set this up. I can't. Okay. So just you let me know if you can see everything.
Yes, I think we are okay.
We're good. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good. Okay. So I'm gonna walk over here to talk about, and then show you on my phone, and point to different areas of the phone. So this, just like any other category, has a start area. Okay, the robot has to start inside the only in the white area, can't be touching any of the black. It is 25 centimeters by 25 centimeters by 25 centimeters as well. Um, there's different elements to this game, but as with any WRO competition, there's a randomization. So, and we'll get into that. There's so I guess we'll just start with understanding some of the missions and then understanding the randomization of those missions. Okay, let's just look at the objects in the field. So there's a big ship, um, a a fueling station. There's some containers, blue and green containers. There's a small ship here. There's a loading dock or a crane. There's actually two of those, one and two. This is A and this is B. And we have harbor walls that shouldn't be moved, and we also have white containers. Okay, so
Okay.
just to let you know, the white containers are always there. They're at the starting position. The blue and green containers are randomized, so you don't know what order these are. So it could be right now it's green, blue, green, blue, but it could be blue, green, green, blue. It could be
Oh.
like this. So it could be any order that you don't know what it's going to end up to be. Okay, so it could be randomized, and the robot doesn't know at the start of the round. The other randomization is there are four. There's an index area, 1 and a 2. So it could be there's 4 different blocks to choose from. It could be green, blue, green, green, blue, green, right? So there's different combinations, or blue, blue, right? So you can see there's different combinations of green and blue. What this index area tells you is what containers to pick up, a blue and a green, okay?
Okay, so I guess that part of the mission is to put these containers on the ships, right?
Yes. So these are for the understanding of which of these blocks to pick up. So, for example, this one says blue and green. We have to pick up a blue and green, and this means we have to pick them up and bring them to the large ship. So they have to be placed on the large ship, and it doesn't matter. They could be placed like this. They could be placed like this. As long as they're on the ship, doesn't matter where they are. As long as there are, but it has to be a blue and a green. Okay?
Okay, so the robot somehow needs to go to this station where it should detect the colors of the 2 blocks there, and from there somehow understand and go and pick the right containers from the container area.
That's correct, to put onto this. So that index has to deal with the big ship, not the little ship. The big ship has to have, in the end, has to actually have 3 containers, a white and 2 of the other containers. It could be green or blue, blue, green, or green, green, or blue, blue, right?
Okay, okay.
So it has to be on the ship. And for the small ship, it could be 2 containers, but it doesn't matter if it's blue or green, blue or white, white or green. Okay, so it could be on the ship. It could be like this. It could be this, or it could be this. Right? It just needs to be 2 of the remaining 3 blocks that are out there.
So we have 6 containers, and we must load 2 on the small ship and 3 on the large ship.
Yes,
right?
2 on the 3. So the large ship is basically strict in what you need to put on. Like, to get full points, you need to get a green and a blue, or in this case, because it says green and blue here, these are not here anymore. But if it was green and green in the index, has to be
green and green in the ship.
Has to be green and green on the big ship, okay? And then blue could be on the small ship too. So you see that?
That's this mission really is close to the real world. Like, you go with on the harbor, you detect what you should load next, and then you go and load the specific containers on the specific ship. So it's really close to the real world. That's
yes, it is. It is. There are 2 other, or actually a couple other missions that we need to talk about. One of the missions is, this is a fueling station, and on the fueling station is a fueling block. This fueling block has to end up on the large ship. Now, again, it doesn't matter if it's on the ship or inside the ship, and I'll show you what I mean by inside, because this fueling station has a movable front end, and if you push the ship, so I'm going to push it with my hand, if you push the ship into the fueling station, the block falls into the ship. So that's points there. So you can actually grab the fueling block or push the ship into the fueling station. I'm guessing a lot of teams are going to just push the ship, because it's probably easier to push the ship into the fueling station, into the fueling station.
So this means that the robot is responsible for loading the ship and also for fueling the ship.
Yes, for loading and fueling the ship, right.
And it's only for the large ship, or do we have a fueling station for the small ship?
There is no fueling station for the small ship. So right now there's points only for the 1 yellow block that's supposed to be loaded onto the large ship.
Exactly. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
All right. So now let's talk about a couple other missions. One, there's this special container, which is a red container which starts on the large ship. The large ship, this container. Now, there's 3 possible points regarding this one. If my container fell apart here. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on. Okay. All right.
Can do
Sorry.
it.
All right. Sorry. So this one is a looped container. If the robot takes it and it's on the robot, you get a certain amount of points. If you bring it to the station A and load it, you get a certain amount of points, and you can activate it where it's hanging and not touching the mat. You get more points for that. If you bring it to B, that's also the same, but you get more points at the B station. Okay, if you load it onto the B loading, if you put the container there.
Okay, so we have 2 cranes. One is kind of like in the middle of the field,
Yes.
and the other is more on the east side of the field.
Right.
And it's like more difficult to get it on the east side, and that's why you get more points there, I guess.
Yes, you get more points. Yes, you get yeah. So having it on the robot is 10 points. Having it on the A crane is 14 points. Having it on the B crane is 20. But even you add another 11 points if it's hanging, not touching the mat. So the crane has to be activated, meaning the crane has to be pushed up. Okay.
Okay, so that's plenty of work for 2 minutes.
Oh,
Is there anything more that should be done here?
yeah, there is. There's one other
Come on.
mission. There's actually 2 things that need to happen. So, let's see. So, pilot the ship out to the open seas. So, not only this is the harbor area, this kind of light blue. Then there's the open seas, which is that purple area at the end. If you take a ship, doesn't matter large or small, and push it all the way into the open area. So on this mat, there's actually a missing dotted line, but there's a dotted line here. If the ship is in the open area, you get 12 points. If you do it for both ships, you get 24 points. So pushing both ships out into the open area. And then if your robot ends up in what they call the mooring area, you get more points than just bringing it back to the start point. So bringing it back to the start, and the robot doesn't have to be completely inside. Just be touching this area is 10 points. Bringing it to the mooring area is 17 points.
Whoa.
Bring your robot, yes.
That looks difficult. Difficult.
There are a lot of, so the challenge and also always with senior is there's multiple missions and many things happening at the same time. The robot has to be designed to be able to carry, push, grab, lift, and also obviously navigate around the field. This is not an easy mission to do. Typically, we don't see senior missions being completely finished like we do in the elementary and junior categories. Usually senior, it's very rare to see a robot do all the missions in the 2 minutes, right? So there's 165 points max. It would be very hard for a robot to do that, but obviously the goal is to try to get as many points as you can. So teams have to strategize as to figure out, what's the best way to get the most points.
What do you think? I see that World Robot Olympiad, they to their credit, they follow this principle in the other competitions also. They have there are a lot of missions and you can pick and choose and accomplish some of them. And in the same time, the whole field is kind of difficult. So with hundreds of teams, thousands of teams participating through the whole world, there will be a small percentage of them that will be able to get the maximum of the whole the whole field. So walk us through this thinking of constructing a competition.
Well, if you think about it, right, you want to make a competition that's doable, challenging, but also the better teams will do more, right? So just like in any sport or any business or anything in life, there are things you can do, and you could do it, and you can get some points, and, but to be the best, you have to get all the points. So they make it easy enough to get some points, but hard enough to get all the points. So I do appreciate the game makers who make these competitions to be representing of real life and doing things that can be easy, but also challenging enough where it's only the best can complete.
What do you think will be a strategy here that teams could employ? How would you approach this field?
How I would approach this field? Yeah, well, I mean, just like in any competition. Hold on, sorry, my computer. Just gotta make sure I set it up here. So just like in any competition, you always want to try to look for the easy points or points that you can start. So points that are closest to you. So right, if I grab the ships again, right? For example, if I put the ship back to where it started, I probably, would try to get the white. Okay, so let's just say you don't want to do any of the randomization. You don't know what it is. You can just do the white ones. You can just go grab the white ones and bring it to the ship and load it, right? You know the size of the white ones. You know they're always there. Those are always easy to get. So the white ones are always here, right? There's 2 white ones. So you
because there is no random element there.
There's no randomization of elements. So you can everything. Get this, and you could do the fuel block as well. I don't know where my fuel block went, but
okay, it's somewhere on the field.
Oh, I see it. It's in the open sea.
It's in the open sea. Yeah. We spilled the fuel.
Yeah, we spilled the fuel. So if you could push the robot the ship into the fueling station, just as the first move, maybe that could be, easy points to get, right? So that's easy to get. But then trying to figure out reading these blocks, I can see teams that are intermediate to advanced reading these blocks first, and then trying to figure out the containers and how to grab them. Now, they're probably going to have to develop a mechanical lift that can grab either the big or the small, and it doesn't matter if it's big or small.
Because the green are smaller than the blue ones.
Yes, the green containers are smaller than the blue ones. Correct. So if you look at these, right, the size difference in these, the green ones is smaller. So, but if they're here, and if you develop an arm that is, unilateral, that you can pick up either one, I think that's probably what teams are going to try to do. They're not going to, determine, pick up small with different way than pick up large.
What do you think about picking all the 4 containers and just putting them on the large ship? Do you think this will count?
Well, you don't get the points. You only get points for 2 of them.
Oh, yes.
Right. So you could do that, but you only get 2. You only get the points for the correct blue and green, or blue, green, green. So
I'm not sure. Do you think is it possible to touch the robot while it is working?
Touch the robot? You mean with your human hands?
Yes, probably return it to base as in other competitions.
So this is a completely autonomous competition, and just like with other age groups, once you touch that robot to go from the start, the robot has to do all the work within 2 minutes. You cannot touch the robot.
You cannot touch it, so you can't return it to the base and place the.
That's the challenge of this competition. So that's why it's challenging, and it's a really good competition and problem for students to try to solve.
Oh, very interesting, very interesting. And the finals are in November in Panama. All
yes,
right?
So the finals are, I think, November 9th in Panama. So here in the U.S., we have our qualifying tournament in the end of July, where it's going to be at the Worcester Polytechnic Institute arena in the Boston area. So we are going to have teams that are going to compete at all age groups, all categories, and try to be invited to be on Team USA to visit Panama.
What should a team do if they want to participate?
Just go to our website, usclyouthrobotics.com, and register for any of the national events. We actually have 2 national events. So I did mention the Boston one, but we also have a California one as well. So we have 2 events that you can qualify to get to go to Panama.
And you qualify for the events, you participate in the events, and some of the teams, they qualify and continue for the next rounds, right?
Yeah. Yes. Usually the top teams are invited, and they get to represent Team USA. We go to the international site. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Will. Again, really grateful for your time and for the opportunity for us and all our viewers to learn more about World Robot Olympiad, and especially this quite challenging senior competition. It's quite interesting.
Yes.
Thanks again for taking
Yeah, you're
the time.
welcome. It was great thanks for having me.
This has been All Robotics Competition, and me, Kiril, with our good friend Will, we tried to take you through World Robot Olympiad 2023 in a couple of installments where we went through the elementary, the junior, and now the senior. Probably in some of the next episodes we'll enter into some of the other competitions. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.